Hey everybody, John Felt here, and this is the Blue Water Outlook Weekly Weather Briefing for April 5th, 2025. It's been really active across large parts of the nation for the last week. Looks like a couple more days before we start to quiet down. Let's get started in today's weather briefing. Well, first of all, take a look at the different watches and warnings in effect. Most of these are flood watches and warnings. High risk of excessive rainfall, and that is rare, and that represents a very dangerous flash flood situation. Keep in mind we could have some severe storms as well. Take a look at also all the river flooding we have over parts of the Ohio River Valley down into the south. Now, like I said, last week was extremely busy. Take a look at all the severe storm reports or the adverse weather reports. We had snow, that was blue. We had high winds, that was orange. We had damaging thunderstorm winds in yellow, hail in purple, and embedded in there were a number of tornadoes as well. So all this is occurring along this stationary boundary. We have an inflow here from the south, and we have north winds here. We have pulses of low pressure moving along that is enhancing the upward motion. And to the north, where we're having overrunning of that boundary, is where the heaviest rain is occurring. You can also see that in the dew point analysis, how the higher dew points in the 60s and 70s are feeding north from the Gulf, hitting that cooler and drier air, and that's converging and causing the action. And early this week, or this weekend, Saturday, we're looking at Arkansas for that potential for some of the heaviest precipitation as these areas of low pressure enhance the rain up to the north. Okay, so last week we already had quite a bit of heavy rain, anywhere from 6 to 8 inches of rain, maybe even heavier amounts, 9 to 10 inches of rain in parts of Kentucky and western Tennessee. That's going to be developing into Arkansas as well. So I think when it's all over, we're sort of looking at an area like this where the heaviest rain will be occurring. Now you might be wondering, is there any snow? Well, if you're in the upper Midwest, you did get some snow last week. And there's still snow on the ground, parts of Minnesota and the Dakotas. And it seems more like very early spring in those regions rather than April. Now, last week, anything in yellow or red experienced above normal temperatures. Take a look at Texas all the way into the southeast and the mid-Atlantic. We had record high temperatures in some of these areas. Matter of fact, anything in this brown here, that made it into the 90s, and anything here in the yellow made it into the 80s. So it had some nice days last week if you weren't in the really action spots, and there weren't too many areas that weren't in those action spots. So we have this area of low pressure that's going to eject out of the southwest, and that's sort of the last energy impulse that will be eventually ending our rainy pattern. And gradually, by the end of the week, what we're getting is we're going to have some lingering cool air in this region, but we're going to have building high pressure and much warmer air in this region. So let's take a look at temperatures here, and you can sort of see the next 5 days we have some cooler air in many spots, but we gradually are replacing that with warmer air in the second 5 days, and by the third 5 days we have much less cooler air. So it's going to take a while, especially in the Northeast, Great Lakes, and Eastern U.S., but it's gradually looks like it's going to be warming up. Okay, so what about more rain? Well, most of the area is going to be pretty dry. The Pacific Northwest is going to get some enhancement of Pacific flow, but it still looks like Arkansas and parts of the lower Ohio and Tennessee river valleys are still going to get clobbered with inches of rain. And that's going to really result in this flood threat. We have that high risk. That's very unusual, very rare, represents a dangerous, excessive rainfall that's going to result in urban and flash flooding. And look at all the rivers here, main stem rivers. These are tributaries, and those are the more moderate to major. And then even the major rivers here, look at this here. This is Evansville Indiana, going from currently around 17 feet all the way up to 47 feet as we go through this week. We look at Memphis here, almost 7 feet to 37 feet. So we're going to see very rapid rises on the Ohio, especially the lower Ohio, and the middle Mississippi. Any more snow? Well, here we go. A little bit of snow still, even in the Northeast, Great Lakes and Northeast in that cold air. And even in some unusually, where you wouldn't expect it this time of year, the Texas Panhandle could get some snow with that upper low. Okay, so let's take a look at the extended here, especially for week 2. And you can see, like I said, it looks like that warmer air expands across larger parts of the nation. And it looks like much quieter about maybe 3 days out from now, much quieter. So overall, the trend is going to be lots of severe weather today and tomorrow, lots of excessive rain and flash flooding today and tomorrow going into the next week. But gradually, it looks like it's going to be warmer. This is a big trend, and quieter weather moving in. So keep alert for the flooding if you're in that area. Otherwise, enjoy your weekend. Take care.